Hello, Blizzard fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between Avilo and Graphix on Coda LE. Graphix posted a replay pack on the All Things Zerg subreddit a couple of days ago, and I asked if I could cast a couple of more exciting games, and he said yes. So in the bottom right, we have the Red Terran Avilo, the enemy. And in the top left, we have our hero, the Blue Zerg, Graphix. Now, Graphix has Legacy of the Void, and I asked him which of the games in the replay pack he considered the most exciting, and he chose all three of them to be Legacy of the Void replays, which I unfortunately cannot cast because I am not part of the beta quite yet. I'm hoping to begin getting an invite sometime soon here, but we will have to wait and see. Now, let's see how Graphix opens up the game right now. Let's see, spawning pool first or hatchery first. We'll have to see. Sending an overlord across the map. And based on the gas timings here, I feel like this is a Reaper opening, but the gas is a little bit late. We'll have to see what actually comes out of this bunker here from Avilo as the hatchery does go down, the 15 hatch for Graphix. So there's the gas coming on out. The factory, or the barracks is finishing here. And what is going to be built? Not quite enough gas for a Reaper, but now there is, and there comes the Reaper. So the timing was just a little bit off there from Avilo, getting that Reaper out just a little bit late, and that can make all the difference here against the Zerg player, who did go hatchery first. He did go hatchery gas and then spawning pool, it looks like. And so he will have a queen out a little bit later than usual. So this Reaper harass might actually manage to do a little bit of damage here as we decide to follow him across the map, slow things down just a little bit. He moves past the Zelnunga watchtower and he's going to head right up and in. It looks like to the main. Nope, changing direction. Gonna see what he can do in the natural. Are we going to build a bunker? Is that what that SCV is for? And the SCV is actually just scouting out the third base here. And here comes the Reaper coming right on in, going to see what pops out of those eggs. It's going to be drones, so he says, all right, juicy drones. Comes in, tries to kill one. No, changing to an extractor, still alive. Second one, trying to escape before it dies. Decides not to actually make an extractor. Some slowlings come here and kind of shoo the Reaper away. The extractor gets canceled, and this drone goes back to mining. So that is something you want to do, Zerg players. If you're coming up against some Reaper harass and you don't have a queen out yet or speedlings, take your drones, make them into extractors, make them into, I guess, temporary extractors that you can cancel later when the threat is over, because Reapers don't do a very good job against buildings, and you can actually save this drone. And in this part of the game, every single drone matters so very, very much. You want to hang on to these as best you can. So the Reaper, actually not doing too much harass here. This is something you want to do, Terran players. If you have a Reaper, at least scout with it, harass as much as you possibly can. There are lings here ready to see a Reaper hop on up and try to kill it. But even then, I mean, if you're worried about that happening, you still need to scout around. Take safe paths where you can see before you leap, and things might actually work out for you. And here he comes. He's going to do some scouting around, checking out this base. There is not a hatchery here, and he's going to pop up on this ledge, and what's going to happen to him is the question. Ooh, he almost gets caught there by the Zerglings, takes an interesting path. A couple of shots come off on the Queen, onto that Reaper. Going to try to run around. He is still alive, jumping back on down here. Second Queen taking some shots off, and does he get sniped down? He does get sniped down, and actually does get killed. So, again, the scouting information was pretty good from this Reaper. He didn't get any kills, but that's alright. Don't feel too bad about that, Zerg players. It can be difficult to do so, especially with the range on those queens. So we'll have to see. We do have an SCV moving back and forth, actually blocking the third base here for Graphix, which is kind of funny. The drone might actually get a kill. That's not something you see every day at this point in the game. Ah, yes, the drone gets the kill, and then we'll probably morph into a hatchery, so we won't be able to see any future kills from this hero drone. And I lied. The drone is actually heading on back. He's not going to take a third base quite yet. Perhaps the scouting overlord saw something he was worried about. There are Marines and a bunker here. There are Hellions. The Hellion and another Hellion coming out here. Nothing for the factory just yet. We do have Starport. Ah, and a Banshee being trained here with that tech lab. So it's going to be some Banshee harass, as well as some Hellion harassment at the front. That could be very frustrating to deal with. It can be hard for Zerg players to deal with the air of the Banshee and the ground of the Hellion at the same time. So we'll have to see what the answer is going to be from Graphix. He does have a spine crawler at the front. Has not taken a third base. I feel like maybe he should, as the Terran player is on 2 bases now. But looks like he is instead, what is he going to go for here? Are we going to see roaches? We're seeing a lot of gas. We are making a Baneling nest, so maybe a bit of a Baneling all-in. We're sending the barracks out to do some scouting. Is this going to be factory play? Widow mines coming out, lots of Widow mines coming out. Are these going to be offensive Widow mines? And yes, they are offensive Widow mines heading across the map. Usually we see these on defense in this matchup, but or at least the Widow mines Oh, okay, 2 of them burrowing right here. I was going to say, we don't usually have them going out by themselves. They usually are escorted by Marines and Marauders and things like that, but instead just kind of hanging out here, trying to kill that Overlord. Oh, they do manage to get it. 2 shots from a Widow Mine does kill an Overlord, interestingly enough. Scouting Barracks comes on in, going to get picked away by this Queen. It will take a long time for the Barracks to die just because it has a lot of hit points. It has 1,000 hit points. Queens do hit pretty hard, but not hard enough to really kill that anytime soon. Where is that Banshee? There's the Banshee. It throws down Cloak. It's going to probably deny this 3rd base, or try to deny it. We'll see what happens here. Here it comes along up that ramp and over. It does scout out the 3rd base and sees that it's there. At least does it want to reveal itself and begin attacking the hatchery is the question. We do have a lot of banelings moving out across the map now. Here they come, massing up right here with the Overseer. And yes, 2 Banshees now going to town on this hatchery. I think 2 Banshees is enough DPS to actually kill this hatch before it fully completes. But again, the Banshees are using all of their cloak on this, and here comes a Queen to try to shoot things away. 2 Queens trying to shoot these Banshees away, and there is an Overseer, so even the cloaked Banshee is now visible to the Zerg player. 3 Queens here is probably enough to defend against those Banshees. Well played. The floating barrack sees all of these Lings and says, okay, this has to be a Ling Baneling attack. I must be ready for it. There is a Raven. There are 2 Widow Mines. A couple Widow Mine hits could be enough to defend against a big attack from Lings. So we'll have to see how that goes. And here we go. Now come the Mutalisks. So it's going to be, Mutas are now focusing down the Banshee. It's going to link the Ling Baneling Mutalisk. And we'll have to see what happens. Any drones lost there? No drones lost at all for any of the Zerg player as of yet. Oh, more Banshees coming in. And 1 gets sniped down immediately. Another one does cloak and try to get the heck out of there. I imagine there's an Overseer coming. Yes, there is. But the Banshee decides to get out and not try to do anything too crazy. And can they get this Widow Mine is the question. They know... Oh, apparently they know it's there. Yes. Waiting for the Overseer. And then the Widow Mines do get taken out by the Zerglings. Well played. Good time there by Graphix. And here come the Mutalisks. Going to snipe down this Barracks, which is not too necessary for the Avilo, I don't believe. But at the same time, you want to kill what you can. Get it down to burning. Here come the Mutas. They're going to fly right on in. There is a Widow Mine. There is a turret. There is a Viking and a Raven here. So, interesting composition. We have an interesting spread of Widow Mines as well. Are they going to get the Banshee? No, can't quite get it before it manages to cloak again. Just barely with some energy that it has left. We are throwing down creep here at the potential 3rd base for the Terran player. And yes, a 4th base is now coming down for the Zerg player. So a bit of a macro match coming up now at this point. It is 51 to 56 Harvesters. The Terran player is up, has a lot of workers though. 24 workers on this main base is probably too many. Wants to transfer a few of them down here possibly, or throw up another base as soon as humanly possible. Muta scouting around for that 3rd base for the Terran, doesn't quite see it. The Lings are kind of hanging out as well. Now we have Roaches coming up from Graphix, and they're going to try to take down these debris, or this debris, to create an additional attack path for themselves. And let's just see, are we actually droning up here at this base? Not really, no. I mean, we are fairly well saturated at the 1st and 2nd base. The 3rd base is not quite saturated yet. I believe it might be a good time to do so for the Zerg player, just because he knows the Terran player isn't going to do anything at this point with Mutalisks out on the map and so many Zerglings out on the map as well. But I guess you could have to be worried about a potential counterattack, a drop along the right side, but here we go. It's actually going to be a mech composition from Avilo, Banshees, Thors, Hellbats, and Hellions as well. Actually, all Hellbats at this point. I don't think any Hellions. And here comes the mech push. Now, the question is, are these 2 Thors and Widow Mines enough to handle the Mutaflock? And I believe it might be. There are a lot of Roaches, though, to deal with pretty much everything on the ground here. Banshees can kill them if they can stay alive long enough to do so. We'll have to see what happens. Roaches and Lings kind of heading back now, trying to regroup with the Mutalisks. Not quite sure what they want to do. And the mech army might actually just be defensive at this point, to try to get this 3rd base up for Avilo and keep it going, keep the economy running as fast as he can. We do have a Hydralisk den up as well, so it could be Roach, Hydra, possibly some Banelings depending on how things go. Here comes the attack though. The Mutas are going to try to come in. They get those Widow Mines. Those are huge pickoffs with those Widow Mines. No longer able to take down Mutalisk balls or Zergling clumps. But here comes the mech army to try to defend against this. They do chase everybody away. The Zergling does get killed. The Terran Command Center can't land quite yet. It has to wait for that creep to clear up. But as soon as it does, I am sure it will land and begin creating mules at this location, putting down a missile turret, a sensor tower, and 2 refineries here as well. So We'll have to see what the answer is going to be here from the Zerg player. I don't know if he can stay on Roach Hydra against this composition, but we'll have to see what the decision is going to be. Yeah, just getting upgrades at this point, and getting, what is this going to be, range for the Hydralisks. I guess a Roach Hydra could be pretty good here, depending on how things go on the just the unit count for both of the players at the time of the attack. So let's see what happened. Just kind of hanging out here, checking for the presence of a 4th base, running in with the mutas, trying to snipe things down, but they get chased away pretty quickly by these 3 Thors now with +2 attack. Yikes. Those things are scary with their splash damage. We'll have to see what happens. We have a Spire, obviously, not being changed into a Greater Spire. Probably won't see Brewlords at any point in this game. This range just finished for our Hydralisks, and we're coming in with Roaches, and there are now tanks on the ground. Yikes. Tanks killing a whole ton of Zerglings, getting some shots off on those Roaches, as we see just how powerful tanks can be against the Zerg army. And okay, Graphix says, I need to reconsider this. If there are a lot of tanks, I don't want to push in here against this mech composition. It is going to be a bad time. So let's see what happens. Again, I've said this before in my videos, but mech can be a very difficult composition for Zerg to deal with in the Heart of the Swarm metagame. Just because, again, the Hellbats do so well against Zerglings, Thors do well against Mutalisks, and tanks do well against everything on the ground that Zerg has to offer. These Ravens, as well with their point defense drones, mean that Hydralisks will be neutralized to a large extent. And I mean, just a giant mech death ball moving out across the map can be very, very hard for a Zerg player to stop. Might need Banelings for it. I don't know what the answer is going to be for Graphix. We'll have to see what he decides to do. We are getting speed for the Hydralisks as well. We have an infestation pit. Mutalisks come in trying to snipe down this command center, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Oh, big attack here with Roaches and Hydras trying to get in before the tanks siege up, but no. The tanks do manage to siege up, and the Zerg army does retreat with the Mutas trying to take down this command center as fast as they possibly can, but no. Not able to do it. It is going to survive with orange health, but still, it's there. The point defense drone as well, absorbing a bunch of shots from those Hydralisks, obviously. And I think this is the point where Graphix is kind of poking around, trying to see a place where he can actually attack, where he can whittle down this giant mech death ball before it moves across the map and kills him. We'll have to see what the answer is going to be. Vipers are actually really good against this composition, just because you throw down Blinding Cloud, and the tanks can't fire, the Thors can't fire, and you can pretty much clean up everything else with the Mutalisks. So we'll have to see what the answer is going to be here. The Muta comes in, tries to snipe down that missile turret, does manage to do so. Planetary Fortress actually morphing in here at the 4th base as well. Group of Roaches and Hydras try to do some attacks over here, but there's a single tank, and it was enough to really scare them away. So Mutas are being harassy, though. They're doing a good job doing what damage they can, taking down that refiner. We have Banshees moving along, trying to see what they can see. They see the creep spread is pretty insane right now. Doing a good job constantly up on that is Graphix. Moving across the map, about halfway across now. The Xel'Naga Watchtower is completely covered in creep at this point. We have a Banshee going to town on these drones. 2 kills, 3 drone kills, and now kind of wasting hits on this extractor. Should probably be microed a little bit better. The scan coming down as well. Queen's coming to shoo this Banshee away, but it did get some drone kills, so good harassment there by the Terran player. Just because you have a giant mech ball doesn't mean you can't harass at all. Banshees are good for that. You can do some drops. Oh, what did I say about Vipers? I said we need Vipers, and there they are. Where the heck are the Vipers? I just saw them. Units, Vipers, and are they... Small group of Hellbats over here trying to take down this 5th base, or 6th base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th base from the Zerg player. This Banshee going to town on this extractor as well. Where are those Vipers? Vipers, there they are with the main army here. They have a lot of energy, and they are going to be very useful in taking down this mech composition. And Banshee does actually get taken down by these Mutalisks with assist from the Overseer. Small group of Hellions moving around the left side do get scattered out by that Overlord. Are they going to die? Mutas from on top going to probably manage to take them out. There aren't many drones here to die, but they're going to focus down on these Queens. Good transfuse on the Queen, keeping it alive, but not enough to keep it from being roasted to death eventually. But I think all of these Hellions are going to be killed. They do change into Hellbats. This group of Hellbats actually did take down the 5th base. Well played by them. But all the Hellbats get cleaned up here at this location. And what is our income tab? Showing 76 to 66 Harvesters. The Zerg player is up. Vikings running around trying to kill Overlords. Already has 2 kills already with that +3 attack. Big attack coming on in. Blinding Cloud going down on all of the tanks. Excellent micro. Roaches and Hydras coming in, but the Planetary Fortress is too much for them to defend. or attack at this point, and also the Thors were a little bit scary as well. So a bit of a poke in there here from the Zerg player, not enough to really kill much of anything at all. He's actually at 198 to 151 supply, so he has that advantage, but these mech units are just so cost effective. I don't quite know what he's going to be able to do against it to actually destroy it. We'll have to see what the decisions are, if the micro is good enough, and all those other factors that do go into it. Muta's here actually to handle, yeah, going to take out some of these workers if they're able to do so. There is a Widow Mine. They should probably see if they can kill it. Avilo says, eh? I don't know what he is asking questions about, but the Widow Mine does get destroyed by the Mutalisks, and we're going to try to take a 4th base here from Avilo, but I don't know if that's the right answer. A holy giant flock of Vikings is probably enough to kill every single one of these mutas if they are allowed to do so. Zerglings coming in here as well, going to try to kill some stuff. The auto turret gets thrown down and takes them out quite quickly. Bit of an overcommittal there, throwing down, what, 3 auto turrets in response to 2 Zerglings? I don't know if that was the right decision or not. Okay, now we have Ultralisks. This might be a good answer. They don't have any attack upgrades, but they do have some armor upgrades, which is nice. Are we getting attack now? Yes, we are getting attack as well as +3 ranged attack. We'll have to see if a Viper Ultra composition is enough to win here. Trying to throw down a ton of creep to come down this left side, as this area is basically creep free at this point. We'll have to see what the answer is going to be. A Zergling run-by comes on in, trying to kill a ton of these workers. Does manage to get a few of them, as well as a couple of mules. So, I mean, at this point, Zerglings are basically free units. The Zerg player has 4,500 minerals. Oh, man, look at all these SCVs that might possibly die. Ultras coming in here, getting destroyed by those tanks. Moving on out as well. Good choice here, actually, by the Zerg player to do that attack with the Zerglings while attacking the front with the Ultralisks. I don't think this is enough Lings to actually kill that planetary fortress, but maybe with these Ultras it is. That's going to be a question. Ultra Hydra can be a very strong composition, depending on what you decide to do with it and what the matchups can be, but it is still 182 to 164. The Death Mech Ball is looking pretty darn big and pretty darn intimidating. The 4th base is now up for Avilo. It is 71 to 51 Harvesters for the Zerg player, though, so he has a pretty good bank. He has more Vipers coming on in. Has to be careful sucking off the health from this hatchery. It is down to 400 health out of 1500, which means it's easier to snipe off. If a big army comes in here, it's only a couple hits to take that down. So actually, Avilo says, I'm not going to attack onto the creep just yet. I'm going to set my tanks up here on the high ground and see if they can kill anything that comes this way. I mean, see how the creep gets up on these siege tanks? It's very, very creepy the way it does that. Tanks destroying everything from this high ground, but a good pincer movement here from Graphix takes every single one of the tanks out. I don't know if we want to attack into this quite yet, and yes, we do. The Ultras coming on in, focusing on killing everything on the ground. The Hydra's doing attacks as well. I don't know what Graphix is deciding to do. He finally decides to back out. He doesn't want to attack into this entrenched position with 5 fully upgraded tanks at this point. At least with attack, maybe not with armor, but still, they do tons of damage when they have that +3 attack. But at the same time, I think Graphix is in a pretty good position. He has all of these bases. His income is looking really good, about 1,700 minerals and 800 gas, which is what you want to see as a Zerg player. This base is still alive. It doesn't have many workers there, but it is still alive. Main base is mined out. He is now getting a macro hatch at his main. He wants to be able to remax if possible. But here come the Ultralisks. They are now up to +2/+1. And here they come, going to try to take advantage of the Terran's immobility with this giant army. Going to try to take down this planetary fortress. Is it enough Ultras to do it? Yes, it is. It's enough Ultras, and they say, okay, our job is done. Let's get the heck out of there. But there's a replacement command center just ready to replace the one that died. That's actually pretty funny. Banshees coming in, trying to snipe down what they can. Getting this extractor is a pretty good decision, just because, again, the Zerg player needs a lot of gas in order to survive into the late game. So it looks like the extractor will go down, and here comes the death ball push up the front. Avilo says, okay, we can't let those Ultras get upgraded anymore. The Hydras are already pretty scary. Moving on to the creep is not a great decision, but I mean, you do what you have to do. Kill the creep tumors, kind of wait for it to recede. And are we going to take down these tanks? They are kind of left alone at this point, but no, they actually unsiege and get the heck out of there. Great choice by them. But the 4th base is up for the Terran player. I mean, he's got a lot of gas coming in as well. He has a giant stockpile of 2,000 minerals and 3,000 gas. And 50 workers as well as 57 drones. You know what? It actually shows it right there. Good to know. Anyway, 200 total supply, 196, 199 for both players. Fairly even at this point. Banshee hit squad comes in. Going to try to take down this Spore Crawler, and they actually do manage to do a good job doing it. This hatchery might get taken out as well if the Hydras can't get here in time, and they do show up just in time. A lot of scans coming down, seeing the Zergling hit squad coming across this area, but there's a planetary fortress, Zerglings. What are you trying to do? Yeah, get out of there. They immediately retreat. Group of infestors coming up. Do they try to catch? They do. They try to catch these banshees, throwing down a fungal growth and then some infested marines. And they do actually manage to take down everything. Oh no, 3 hit points left on that banshee, still alive. Manages to cloak at the last second. Small Zergling counterattack here at the third base of the Terran player, killing a couple of workers, but really fairly ineffective. Infestor hit squad coming around doing what they can do. One does get picked off by that banshee before it buries itself. Here come all of the Ultralisks. They want to take down this base as well. Do they want to commit? And the answer is no. I mean, Graphix has been in a position where he could commit, but he feels like it's a little bit suicidal to do so and actually decides to back out at the last second. He loses a couple units, but I think he feels like that's better than losing all of his units in an attack. I mean, yes, you can remax as Zerg. It can be difficult to do so if you don't have enough money to fully do it. Ultralisks are expensive. You don't want to throw them around willy-nilly. He really needs to get that attack upgrade as well. He's only stuck on 1 for the melee. He probably needs 2. But again, Banshee Hurrahs being very effective going to town on this base as well. Avilo says, I don't want to let the Zerg player have as many bases as he can possibly have. So let's bring everybody over and see if we can distract the army long enough to make this happen. As we're distracted over here on the right, the big group of air units, Sky Terran coming along to the left. We have a burrowed Zergling here to make sure that a base can't be taken by the Terran player. But let's see how the mineral situation is doing here. Pretty much mined out at the natural, mined out at the main. This base has a lot. Not many workers here, but that's okay. Basically, 50 workers is kind of low, but it means you have more supply for mech units, so that would be nice. A lot of Zerglings coming in here, trying, what are they doing? Trying to specifically focus down SCVs. That is the correct choice at this point. Managing to kill several SCVs. They are getting destroyed by the planetary fortress, but in the end, a lot of SCVs did manage to die. They are on auto repair now, repairing each other from the damage that these Zerglings can do, but another worker dies. It's down to 44, 11 workers killed in that attack. Whole lot of creep tumors dying to this tank. This tank pressure. Oh man, Queen comes in, does a front flip as it dies and explodes in a bloody mess to those tanks. Small group of Ultras coming in here. Is this enough? Oh, gets blocked off at the last second by the supply depot. Gonna take down this missile turret instead. You need to actually let all your buddies in. Ultralisk, let all your buddies come in. There you go. Now that's a better attack. The splash damage going to town on these workers. Good micro here, and now going to town on this planetary fortress. Are they able to kill it? Is the question, and yes, they will destroy it even with a single SCV repairing. Planetary Fortress does go down. A group of Ultralisks up here might want to take down this base, but no. They decide to retreat instead. All of these Ultralisks die. Oh, look at all this bloody stuff getting pushed around by the tanks. Disgusting. Ultras pushing up in here to take down a single tank. And they do manage to get it. It's kind of an interesting spot for the tank. Can attack here, 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 but it's on the low ground, so can't really see up here. I don't know what the purpose of that was exactly. Is the mech army fully upgraded? Still +1 to the armor. I feel like it might as well get +2 and +3 at this point. 33 minutes into the game, but we'll have to see what the decision is going to be from Avilo, whether he wants to get those upgrades or not. I mean, this base is dead, so that income is not coming in anymore for our Terran player. Again, he does have the stockpile, though. Throwing down offensive command centers here. Are they going to be planetary fortresses? That is a good question. I don't know. Graphix just really doesn't want to commit to this at all. He might let these planetaries finish, which would be interesting. Zerglings coming on down, trying to kill what they can, but the wall off is complete here with the barracks. This tank sits back and racks up the kills, getting 13 kills. Another Zergling counterattack. A bunch coming in here to the third. A bunch coming in here to the second as well. So good multitasking here from Avilo. Big attack moving on in. The Ultras coming in, trying to take down all of these command centers before they turn into planetaries. Hunter Seeker missiles coming in, not hitting anything at all. Good micro from Graphix, getting them the heck out of there. And the tanks are all sieging up, though. I don't know how much longer these Ultras have to live. They're doing a good job getting on top of everything, but man, that tank splash is causing more and more Ultras to die. With every passing second, the whole Zerg army dies. 164 to 143 supply. But this Zergling counterattack is doing tons of damage back home against Avilo. Missile turrets are going down. Supply depots are going down. He's only down to 13 workers at this point. This command center might die. We are taking down this supply depot as well. And that's actually doing a lot of damage to Avilo. Excuse me as I cough there. A big attack from Ultralisks coming in, taking out every single one of these tanks. Infested Marines doing the same thing as well with their attack. but they kind of waddle away before they expire. I don't think they'll have any more utility before that happens. Planetary fortresses are up here at the 3rd base for avilo. There's nobody mining here at the 4th base, and there's pretty much nobody mining here at the 5th base either. Again, with only 13 workers and a lot of hydralisks, a lot of ultralisks out here for Graphix. We'll have to see what happens, who actually ends up victorious in this match. A lot of gas still being mined here from the Zerg player. It's about 51 harvesters at this point, doing a pretty good job keeping his harvesters split up where they need to go. I mean, he probably could stand more workers on most of these bases, but I guess he kind of want to keep it low econ, just so again he has more units for the attack. Good creep spread again, kind of throwing down redundant creep tumors at this point, but still more creep tumors are better. And here comes the Hydralisk Ultra attack. Good composition. Yeah, a lot of Vikings here. Hydras do really well against that, and also the bunch of Thors, which Ultras do pretty well against at the same time. Ravens are here. Banshee hit squad moving on out, seeing what they can kill, but is there an Overseer with this army is the question. I don't think there is, but the Spore Crawler... Oh, it actually didn't cloak, and the Hydras killed them anyway, so never mind. Banshee hit squad terminated quite quickly on their mission, unfortunately for them. Let's see what's going on here. Ultralisks, Hydralisks, Infestors. Good composition from Graphix against Vikings, Ravens, Thors, and tanks, and a few Hellbats here from avilo. 197 to 181 supply. 16 harvesters now. Banshee's going to town on this extractor again. Super annoying for Graphix at this point. Hydras do manage to snipe them down as they are single-minded in their purpose. They do manage to kill the extractor. One Banshee escapes with 14 hit points, which I think is a single hit from a Hydralisk at this point. Very lucky to escape. And here we go. Moving on up the base again is avilo along the left side, getting onto the creep, destroying this Spore Crawler. Actually, are they? Yes, they do choose to destroy the Spore Crawler. And all of these creep tumors die as well, which means the creep will begin to recede. Are we going to do a flank attack here is the question. We're kind of splitting up our army. Good choice here by Graphix. Left side, right side. Are we going to move up this high ground is the question. I don't think we want to do that. The tank spread is good. The Thors are in the middle as well. But here we go. Ultras and Hydras, Burrowed Infestors coming in. Zooming out to see this attack. Hydra's doing a lot of damage in the back. Hunter-Seeker missiles coming in, trying to destroy everything though. Vikings actually landing as well to do tons of damage to everything that they can to help this Terran mech ball destroy. And yes, it looks like Terran did manage to win that battle fairly decisively, down to 132 supply for our Zerg player. What are we attacking? What's exploding here? I don't know. How many? Yeah, 13 kills on that Thor. Where are our tanks? 3 kills on that tank, 3 kills on that tank. And again, excuse me, I mean, again, it just looks like the Zerg player has the better economy, but these mech units are just so cost-effective, I don't know if it makes all that much of a difference. So, Zergling counterattack coming on in here, trying to wrap around to the backside where the Planetary Fortress can't kill them. No, they're too distracted by the shiny Planetary, and they all do manage to get destroyed, taking out a couple drones, or a couple SCVs with them, but I don't know if that was entirely cost-effective, and he's almost out of minerals at this point, down to 200 minerals, has remaxed. Again, those upgrades would be really, really useful for the Zerg player at this point. Ultras with +3 is a lot better than Ultras with +2, I can promise you that. Death Ball here, again, getting larger and larger. More and more tanks being added on. Avilo says 1H1, or a hug, or something, I don't know. Ultras moving in, we are spreading creep. We actually have Vipers now. So here is the question, as one of my friends messages me. Ultras moving on into these planetary fortresses, doing a ton of damage, taking down a tank, taking down another planetary. Can they kill all of this is the question before the Death Ball responds. They take out the second planetary. The sensor tower does go down as well. All the workers go down, and I think it's time to retreat. Yeah, the Ultras say, we're going to get the heck out of here. 10 workers is all that avilo is left with. At this point, can we take down this planetary while on a race from the mech ball? Maybe. I don't know. No, the Ultralisks do turn around and try to attack into all of these units. The planetary fortress does go down. Vipers here throwing down Blinding Cloud on those tanks. Excellent choice. Ultralisks have got to get in close. These Ultras probably should not be attacking that refinery. Should be getting in on these tanks instead. Thor is doing tons of range damage. At the same time, there are pretty much queens left now for the Zerg player, and more tanks are coming in for avilo. Just not quite enough to actually destroy the army, but they did kill the planetary. Replacement command center is here, though. 10 workers are left for the Terran player. That is not many at all, but unfortunately Zerg is pretty gas-starved at this point. Not many mining drones. 7 here. 9 here, 18 here. I guess that's quite a bit there, but here comes the push. Thors, mules coming down to do some repairs. Tanks at the back, taking down queens. Spinecrawler will be destroyed by these Thors momentarily, but actually the Spinecrawler does manage to kill one Thor. Nice job by him. And this push is going to be slow but inexorable. We'll have to see if he can actually make it work. There's just nothing mining at all for the Terran player, but it doesn't seem to matter. He has mules. He is actually down to not much minerals as well. Trying to do all this repairing is really strapping him for cash at the same time. More Ultras, more Infestors coming on in. Ultras are still... Actually, they're at +2, so that upgrade is coming down. That's good for them. Kind of consolidating at the Zone Lunga Watchtower. It is avilo. I'm going to zoom out a little bit at this location. I think we might see an attack come in here from the Zerg player. And no, actually, he decides not to do that. Creep tumors dying left and right. Man, this mech game is pretty darn intense. It is lasting a long time. And we'll have to see who actually comes out victorious at this point. The Terran player cannot see up this ramp, which is why that Spore Crawler is still alive. Banshees coming around trying to kill what they can. Infestors move on after them. Trying to throw down a fungal. Actually misses. No, hits with that one. Hits with that one. Both of the Banshees die. Pretty much any unit you can kill at this point is a big pickup for either of these players because they are so cash strapped. Actually, Zerg's up to 1,000 minerals now. Okay. Probably make some more Ultralisks. Probably upgrade that weapon. There we go. Upgrade that weapon. Attack is there. Have we upgraded the chitinous plating for the Ultralisks? We have not. Man, he needs that. He needs 5 armor on those Ultras as soon as humanly possible. Depending on how that goes. Auto turrets being thrown down here. Tanks coming along as well, and Ultras coming down this ramp. Don't know if it's a great choice. There are a lot of tanks. Hunter-Seeker missiles going down on the Infestors. They try to outrun them. They do manage to do so, but that is it. Graphix calls the GG. He is defeated, and avilo is victorious. So, woo, intense 45-minute TVZ there with the mech. As I said, very difficult to deal with as a Zerg player. That composition didn't seem to work out too well, although he didn't have full upgrades on those Ultras, and I don't know if that would have made much of a difference at all. But either way, this has been Falcon Paladin with yet another Daily Blizzard upload. If you liked what you saw and heard today, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, tell your friends about Falcon Paladin, and until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.